My sister and I fought desperately to save 2 spirit eggs during the apocalypse. My sister decisively snatched away one of the bright phoenixes. She left me with only an ugly ice snake. But who would have thought that the scorching apocalypse would strike? I was protected by the ice snake. I safely survived through it. But the fire phoenix was disastrous. It literally burned my sister alive. Before she died, my sister incited my husband. He died with desire. I never expected that. We would actually be reborn back to the day the 2 spirit eggs hatched. This time, my sister decisively took the ice snake. She thought that having the ice snake would allow her to comfortably survive the scorching apocalypse. But what she didn't know was that the ice snake needed to maintain its form by consuming fresh blood every day. I opened my eyes. To my surprise, there was no suffocating heat wave around me. In my previous life, I was drained of blood. The pain of dying is still vivid in my memory. I glanced at the 3 beside me. According to the orc tribe's tradition, they must marry their savior. I was supposed to marry the fire phoenix. But my sister took issue with the ice snake's frightening appearance and snatched away the fire phoenix I had saved. But little did I expect that a month later, global warming would occur, and the high-temperature apocalypse would arrive. As the name suggests, the ice snake has the ability to lower temperatures. It can cause a sudden drop in temperature within a 3-meter radius. The fire phoenix, on the other hand, is the opposite. My sister took away my fire phoenix, but ended up dying from heat during the high-temperature apocalypse. Meanwhile, I, because of the ice snake's powers, was affected by the high-temperature apocalypse. My sister believed I had taken her orc husband. Before she died from the heat, she incited the ice snake to kill me. I just wanted to speak, but was interrupted by my sister. The big snake is. Here you go. Watching my sister eagerly wrap her arm around the ice snake. Come here, sister, this is 7. A smile tugged at the corners of my mouth. I was worried about how to get my sister to let go of the fire phoenix. My sister only knew that the ice snake had the ability to bring down its prey, but she didn't know that it relies on daily consumption of human blood for sustenance. Not only that, the fangs of the ice snake contain potent venom. Every time it drinks blood, it's akin to torture. The poison injected into the bloodstream makes life worse than death. While my sister was inciting the ice snake, I was already on the verge of death from being drained by the ice snake. In a way, I should thank my sister. She gave me a quick end. So, let's savor it once. Let my sister enjoy the taste of being drained by fangs every day. Previously, the ice snake had been under my control. In the past kingdom, it was just due to the constraints of the orc clan's rules. Just barely made my happiness. But this time, the ice snake heard my sister call for him. Before I could respond, he immediately ran to my sister's side. He leisurely spat out the core. Seeing me look at him, the ice snake disdainfully spoke. Lu Ranran. Since Ru Yan said she would take me home, I belong to her now. Don't entangle me. I squinted my eyes. Rebirth isn't just for me and my sister. My sister listened to the ice snake's words, and proudly looked at me. Bright. This is a choice. This pressure is slippery. Just take that broken phoenix home. Good fortune, sister. Since my sister likes it. As a younger sister, how can I not give to my sister? When Lu Ru was present, with a proud glance from Gao Shang. Bright. I don't know for. It's almost time to reach Gower. If you kneel at my feet and beg me, I may consider giving you some joy. Miao Li. Still unaware of the upper 4. Does she still not know about it? I glanced at the fire phoenix curled up beside me. But the fire phoenix, unaware, is not aware of the public. But the fire unaware does not know about the construction. Then it's shown by using its body. Only when I heard my sister say she wanted the snake did I feel a bit relieved. I couldn't be bothered to waste words with the ice snake and Lu Rian. Holding on to it. Sister Dan. Is it yours? I reached out my hand. The phoenix instinctively recoiled. He looked at me with a face full of terror. Again, Sister Ruan. I didn't mean to. Please don't hit me, okay? The fire phoenix said, while trying hard to control its trembling body. It offered its head to me. Great phoenix, fire phoenix. What happened? Why would I hit you? I instantly understood now. To extinguish. Is it that sister of hers? Don't mention her, it's not worth it. The fire phoenix seemed provoked by my words. Curling up in pain. I saw Fengza. It was my sister who abused Huafeng. I held Huafeng in my arms, gently patting his wings. A burst of my comforting efforts gradually settled, slowly quieted down. Joyful garden. Let's go home. But also a fixed distance. I looked apologetically at Huafeng. In terms of economic conditions, my sister and I are very far apart. My sister forced our parents to take out all their money to buy her a house and a car, while I could only rent a place. Huafeng blinked his eyes, quickly spoke up, hesitantly spoke. Again, sister, if you don't mind me, I'll take you home. Huafeng bent down, signaled for me to climb onto his back. I felt a bit embarrassed. It's okay, sister. Get on. I'll take you back flying together. Huafeng's kindness was hard to refuse. I had no choice but to climb onto his back. Where to? No need to worry, Sister Liang. Not sister. I know where you live. Strange. What does Feng know about it? Ask Fire Phoenix what he thinks. Just listen to what Fire Phoenix says. It's home. No translation necessary. Dining speed. I am from the Phoenix tribe. Fire Phoenix raised his face with a hint of pride. This is the first time I've closely examined the Great Phoenix. Fire Phoenix looked wicked. The Phoenix wore a wicked expression. Unlike the Ice Snake, His pitch-black eyes were full of malice. Aren't you cold? Aren't you going to praise me, sister? Fire Phoenix looked at me with both eyes. There seemed to be a hint of expectation. I couldn't help but sigh. Garden. As soon as I finished speaking, I realized what I had just said. Indeed, I looked back toward Fire Phoenix's eyes. As expected, they were shining like the phoenix. His originally shining aura. Regarding the bad, I didn't mean to bring it up. Fire Phoenix smiled self-deprecatingly. A Liang and A Feng responded. That name works well. Bright sister, you say it's exciting, you tax. Am I a very useful phoenix? Without waiting for my answer, he continued speaking. Sister Ranran, again and again. Sister Ruya said I am useless. I only make her hotter and hotter. Unlike the ice snake. She said it was all my fault that she suffered. She plucked my feathers one by one. She even stabbed me with a needle. She used pliers to break my beak. In the end, she broke my wings as well. She threw me outside to fend for myself. Am I really that much worse compared to the ice snake? Sister Lianglang, why did you bring me back? I am a phoenix. I had already guessed that Lu Ruya was abusing the fire phoenix. But I didn't expect her to be so cruel. At first, it was her phoenix. Meeting Gao Shi. It was something unexpected. It was achieved. Why blame all the mistakes? No, Ah Feng. You listen to me. You hear me out. It's not as she said. You are amazing. And more. You are much better now. I know you are in the safe zone. Past. So many words. Worry. Ah Feng is not protecting you. You bought it 1,000 times over. In fact, I am also reborn. Besides the big phoenix. How will a peach torment me? How did Zhang Lu's previous generation abuse taxes? Taking my blood day by day. The most affectionate and most severe will kill the island. 151 Garden. Phoenix seemed quite surprised after hearing me. How could it be bright, sister? According to our beast tribe's tradition, we care about our own people's hearts. Regardless of people, we are all affected. If this ancient rule is violated, there will be very serious punishment. How dare you treat you that way? Shoo. Ah Feng, your punishment is right. I'm not sure of the specifics either. I only know it is a very severe punishment. I pulled Fire Phoenix up. The high temperature is approaching. Shouldn't we prepare? Fire Phoenix and I thought for a moment. Buying an air conditioner is useful. In high temperature, in high society, in highly flavored bones, the power system will fail. Finally, I decided to go to the yard of my home village. Dig a very, very deep cellar. The cellar keeps warm in winter and cool in summer. The key point is that it can cool down without any equipment. It's really not bad. The Fire Phoenix not only moves quickly, but it also has great strength. In less than a week, we dug out a cellar over 100 meters deep. And during the excavation of the cellar, we also dug into underground water. Now both temperature and water source have been resolved. I rode on the back of the Fire Phoenix. When I reached the deepest part of the cellar, I was surrounded by coolness. It formed a sharp contrast with the heat above ground. The big phoenix must take action. Hurry up and prepare. Last week, the surrounding temperature rose to a comfortable level. Ah Phoenix. Now the temperature and water source are both solved. What about the food? Is the food strong enough to protect? What should we do about the food? Not only that, I am pushing a bigger map. I am next to a pit. We planted the seeds in the ground. When the high temperature apocalypse arrives, the temperature there is just right for plant growth. We just need to prepare a month's worth of food in advance. We just have to wait for the seeds to grow. The box is prepared in advance. Tomorrow is the day the high temperature weekend arrives. I hold the phoenix, lying in the large bed of the cellar, waiting for the arrival of the high temperature apocalypse. I woke up early the next day. I could clearly feel that the temperature in the cellar had warmed up significantly, from its previous cold and damp state, rising to a comfortable temperature. The phoenix stretches lazily on the bed. Finally, I don't have to worry about it. These days, I have to activate the long bear every day. It has really worn me out. I feel like my phoenix blood is running low. Ah Feng, do you mean? The activation requires consuming blood gel. Yes. Just like you consume mana when playing games. We also have to consume blood when using our abilities. This garden. I looked at the phoenix with a troubled heart, guiltily looking at the body. Several systems. A few days also matter. I have spent a garden with the Fire Phoenix. No longer having the initial fear and timidity. He directly reached out and pinched my face. I just knew that if I told you, you definitely wouldn't want to let go. Looking at the Fire Phoenix in front of me. Suddenly, my heart was a mix of emotions. My heart suddenly felt a mix of emotions. Why is the gap between orc and orc so large? In the previous life, I never complained about the heat to the ice serpent. It was the ice serpent who couldn't stand the heat, insisting on using supernatural powers. But his use of supernatural powers actually consumed my blood. I sighed quietly. Sighed to myself. I don't even know about sister. According to Gong, ability. According to the trajectory of the previous life. According to the previous generation's description. Today should be the first day sister is being drained of blood. I can't see her being tortured. The Fire Phoenix seemed to see through my thoughts. Sister. Let me show you something fun. Huafeng said while smiling. She handed me a bronze mirror. What is it? Huh? Is it a mirror? I held the bronze mirror and looked at it from different angles. What is so special about this mirror? Huafeng breathed fire at the bronze mirror. The mirror suddenly became clear. The faces of Lu Royan and the ice snake appeared on it. Huafeng saw that I was still confused. Huafeng noticed my confusion, and explained to me that, this is a treasure of our Phoenix clan. It's like a box, similar to your human surveillance devices. But the network doesn't need electricity. I nodded. I stared at the image in the bronze mirror. I saw Lu Royan leaning on someone. I saw Lu Royan at the ice snake's shop. Her head was full of pots. She was constantly mumbling. She kept shouting, "It's so hot. Ice serpent. Don't you have the restaurant of descending intestines? Hurry up and activate it." The ice serpent pressed his lips together. My heart skipped a beat. This is a sign of his impatience. It's also a sign that he wants to suck blood. The ice serpent curled his lips into a strange smile. His sinister eyes were fixed on Lu Royan. "Royan, this is you prompting me to activate my ability. Don't regret it later. Activate it quickly. I'm going to be cooked alive." Lu Royan hadn't finished speaking yet. Still in the courtyard, the ice serpent's fangs suddenly bit into Lu Royan's arm. Lu Royan let out a tragic scream. Her whole body seemed frozen and unable to move. I knew this was the snake venom paralyzing her motor nerves. But the cost of paralyzing the motor nerves is, the pain nerves will become exponentially more sensitive, which means she will feel immense pain. It's twice as bad as being bitten by an ordinary snake. Lu Royan's face twisted in pain. The policyholder's appearance. The entire sound echoed back. The screams echoed across the entire map. It pierced my eardrum. I quickly closed the bronze mirror. As I turned around, the mirror showed Feng looking at me with a complex expression. "What's wrong, Ah Feng?" "The Fire Phoenix taxes the Fire Phoenix. He sheltered me under his wings." "Were you treated like this too?" "So it turns out it was. It turns out he felt sorry for my wealth. I don't know what. My nose felt a bit sour. Always standing gracefully, like my sister. Wouldn't ask me if I was from the country. Today seems to be the first person showing concern." Da Feng saw that I had bought it. He became exceptionally flustered. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I didn't know before. You actually endured so much at Ice Snake's place. I thought he was good to you. And he has the ability to cool things down. It can allow you to gain blessings and enjoy them. You took Joe. Only didn't bring you back. It's all my fault. If I had known it would be like this, even if it meant risking my life, even if I had to take, I would still save you." I'm a bit confused. I don't know why Da said that. Being held in the arms of the Fire Phoenix, I feel a little relieved. Then I opened the bronze mirror again, to see how they're doing now. The original is already gone. My sister weakly collapsed on the sofa. Bright, fixing on Lu Royan's face. He slowly spoke back. "He really is a clever person. Much better than your sister." The ice snake glanced at Lu Royan, trembling and crying on the sofa. "Why are you crying? If I'm not here in a world of extreme heat, could you live so comfortably? Your sister Lu Ranran would be lost without me. Now, I'm afraid she would die from the heat." I rolled my eyes. "I roll. I'm doing pretty well now. It seems like I've encountered someone." She said to the ice snake. "It would be better if I didn't come. It would be better if I didn't bring it. You suck her blood. Head." "It's not. Milk is afraid it will heat her to death." She knelt at my feet begging me to save her. I helplessly tugged at my mouth. Sometimes I really don't know. How did I offend this sister? Even if she suffers herself, she can't stand me having any good at all. But I have to say, Bing Shi and Lu Royan actually match well. Both are equally adept. Lu Royan heard Bing Shi's words. She seemed energized. Tears. She wiped her tears, supporting her weak body. She barely sat up. "Give me the phone. I need to call someone. I want to see her die from the heat." Bing Shi smiled coldly. "This is how it should be. I didn't misjudge this person. You really are much more clever than Lu Ranran." Lu Royan took the call. And then she called me. I answered the call without hesitation. I really want to see. How does Lu Royan want to show off to me this time? She's always loved to show off since we were kids. As long as she has something I own, she always brings it up constantly. The things she brags about, I really couldn't care less about. He can't be bothered to pay attention to her. He also doesn't want to deal with her. But the less I pay attention to her, the more she thinks I'm jealous of her. "Sister, it's now the peak of the heat. Have you grown? If you kneel on the ground begging, I might consider bringing you home for a few days." I sneered twice over the phone. Lu Royan thought I would weep and plead with her. She was surprised by my lack of reaction. Lu Royan continued. "Sister, have you grown up too? What I dislike the most is the ostentation of wealth, the nonchalance of appearing high and mighty. Actuality, even if you kneel now, you kneel and beg. It won't help you, nor will it give you a meal. Sister, it won't change anything. Considering we are sisters, if you can't figure it out, it can be understandable. No need, sister. I'm doing just fine now. But how about you, sister? How does it feel to be drained by the ice snake?" Lu Royan heard my words. Silence lasted for a few seconds. Then she let out 2 laughs. "Lu, bright, bright, bright. Are you jealous of me, the jealous demon? This funny reason you bring up, sister. You wouldn't think that you were the only one reborn, right? By the way, sister, the Fire Phoenix is quite good. I also want to thank you, sister, for giving the Fire Phoenix to me." After I said this, I hung up the phone. Through the bronze mirror, I saw Lu Royan suddenly slam the phone, start going crazy. The ice snake saw Lu Royan like this. Frown of displeasure. "It's all good. What are you going crazy about? Lu Liang is also alive. She is alive. What you did is just play. She knows everything." Ice snake smirks. "Knowing is just knowing. So what? What else is in front of you? What else is there in front of her? She has made me long for her. She has laughed at me. The ground has made me laugh to death. I can bring you coolness. What about her? What use is that useless Fire Phoenix?" Lu Royan heard Ice Snake's words. "Ice Snake, you're right. She's definitely jealous that I have you. She's absolutely overwhelmed by the heat right now. Let's see how long she can stay stubborn. I'm really going to be amused by Lu Rian's words. Ice Snake seems quite pleased with Lu Rian's reaction. Exactly. You've reached this point. You should eat more. That way, there will be blood for me to drink. What does this little pain matter now? Just think about it. At most, just another week. Lu Ranyan can't stand the heat. I'm begging you while crying. That fool Lu Rian. Brainwashed by the ice serpent. If that were the case. Plain rice. Return. Lu Rian doesn't know. But it's not just blood. It's where she starts. The reason Lu Rian can easily move to death is because I refuse to listen. I brought Lu Rian over after having enough blood. But he looks. It's his soul alone. Only such a soul can maintain his power. Therefore, I tricked Lu Rian into the ice serpent. I know if I bring Lu Rian over, she would suffer greatly. I promised. Therefore, I did not agree. But Lu Rian thought I was selfish. I can't bear to see her well. At that time, I always thought she was my sister. I was always thinking of our sisterhood. Until I die. How many layers there truly are to see. Only then did I truly see how much Lu Rian has. How much Rian is like smoke. Only then did I see how fundamentally Rian is like smoke. One more key and I wouldn't look anymore. Whatever her intentions are, let them be. What does she want? Several times, Lu Rian called me to brag about how good her life is. At first, I patiently listened to her boast. But eventually, I became truly annoyed. I directly showed Lu Rian my living situation. Lu Rian's expression at that moment would. Her face would just. From then on, she never contacted me again. The world finally became quiet. I no longer had to listen to Lu Rian's endless chatter. But neither Fire Phoenix nor I expected that the crisis was gradually approaching. One day, I was sleeping with Fire Phoenix. Suddenly woke up from rain hitting my body. I looked up. I didn't know why the hot and dry weather continued. It unexpectedly started to rain. Fortunately, the rainwater, although warm, is not particularly hot. It seems to be around 20 degrees. At first, Huo Feng and I didn't pay much attention to it. But the rain continued for several days. It showed no signs of stopping at all. The rainwater in the cellar kept increasing. It was almost up to our ankles. Huo Feng told me to stay put in the cellar. He went up to check the situation. After a long time, Huo Feng finally returned. He spoke to me in a bit of a panic. The water outside has accumulated quite a bit. Although there is a cover over our cellar, the amount of water accumulating outside is simply too much. At this rate, I fear that in a few days, our cellar will be completely flooded. I thought about it for a moment, and finally understood why the weather has been so hot lately. I'm afraid the glaciers in Antarctica have melted. With so much water there and the weather being hot now, no wonder it has been so dry. I'm afraid if this continues, the water supply will burst. By then, Fire Phoenix and I will be in this basement. I'm afraid we could drown alive. Fire Phoenix and I shared my thoughts. Fire Phoenix thought my speculation made a lot of sense. I said, Ah Feng, we must move up to the surface quickly. We can't remain alive down here. But what about the weather? If we move to the surface, we'll die from the heat. Fire Phoenix said while lowering her head. I'm sorry again. I'm sorry, Ranran. It's all my fault. I lacked the ability. That caused you and me to suffer. If you had chosen the ice serpent back then, I reached out and covered Fire Phoenix's mouth. Ah Feng, don't say that. If I had chosen the ice serpent, even if I didn't die from the heat, I would have died from pain. I thought hard. Fire Phoenix and I can't just accept this. Suddenly, an idea popped into my mind. Ah Feng, I have a great idea. Fire Phoenix held my hand in surprise. Quickly tell me again. Ah Feng, can't you fly? Wouldn't it be great if you flew me to the top of Mount Everest? It must be cool up there at a high altitude. And we wouldn't need to worry. In the future, the water supply will be cut off. Even if global sea levels rise by 1,000 meters, it still wouldn't reach us. Huafeng listened to my words. Then, using Ruan, you're still so clever. Let's go now. I suddenly thought of some bad things again. I shook my head again. But what? Huafeng rubbed my head. But will it take a long time? Will we die from the heat on the way? I should still call Lu Ruyan. She collaborates with me. Without waiting for Huafeng to speak, I picked up the phone. I called Lu Ruyan. Is it? Lu Ruyan's tone on the phone was full of sarcasm. Global warming. Are you afraid that the Antarctic glaciers will melt? You've seen the significant changes lately, right? The response. Ruyan's indifferent reply. What does the county have to do with me? According to the rainfall, only a bit of festive water will burst. Only a little bit of healthy water will erupt. The global sea level will also rise. At that time, I'm afraid you and the ice will be roasted. Even if I won't die from the heat, I might still die from the drought. It would be better for you and me to cooperate. I can have the Fire Phoenix take you to the top of Mount Everest. It's very safe there. Ru Lianglang. Right? I live on the 22nd floor. You might drown, but I won't. Haha. Got it. You must have suffered from the heat. And you don't want to kneel to me. So you came to scare me, right? If you don't believe it, that's fine. Originally, I thought we could cooperate for mutual benefit. Since you think of me this way, then there's no need to talk. Ha ha ha. Have you grown? You're gone. Just kneel down and knock your head to beg for wealth. Just kneel down and bow your head to ask for wealth. I want to see your high bone. I don't want to hear Lu Ruyan's words anymore. He directly hung up the phone. Huo Feng saw my bad expression and came in. Liang, your company. What do I do with her? I don't want to seek cooperation with her at all. I sighed, feeling a bit frustrated. Huo Feng was surprised to hear that I wanted to collaborate with Ru Yan. She got anxious. What do you want to cooperate with her for? She's one of them. I won't even mention the abuse I suffered. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be with you either. I looked at Huo Feng's pouting face. Big Feng, I seem like an ordinary person. Huo Feng seemed even more joyful when she saw me smile. You are not allowed to look for her anymore. Clearly, it was you who brought me out. In the end, she actually took it away, making me think she was you. She truly wasted my kindness towards her. How do you know it was me who hatched you? Did you sing to me when you hatched me? Although it was sung very poorly. Later, I heard Lu Ruyan sing so beautifully. I knew she wasn't my benefactor. I originally planned to quietly find you. I exchanged it for the ice snake. But then the scorching end of the world came. I saw that he had the ability to cool things down. I thought you two could be happy together. I didn't expect they actually treated you like that. I heard that the fire phoenix could even hear me singing in the egg. It was a bit awkward. Encountering death again. I also remembered that the fire phoenix and I weren't enemies. And I thought about death. It means dying from heat. Catching my breath. Still unable to escape that fate. Looking at the tax in confusion. Lianglang. The network. I took you to Mount Everest. But the road. It was first killed by the heat. I originally thought about cooling us down. How about a Feng? If it really doesn't work, I'll go ask Lu Rian. I don't care if I die from the heat. Anyway, I've entered. But the fire phoenix looked at me for 2 seconds. Then it laughed heartily. I thought you were worried about something. Turns out it was for this little matter. But to be honest, you're willing to beg that bad woman for me. I'm actually quite touched. What time is it now? You're still joking with me. The phoenix person transforms into phoenix equipment. Song Zhu came up. But still, I listened to the fire phoenix. I became his chosen one. A Feng. We will. After I finished speaking and submitting, I felt the world spinning. It must be because it's too hot. I've got heat stroke. It's getting worse. I waited with my eyes for death to arrive. But I heard the voice of the fire phoenix in my ear. Slowly. What are you doing with your eyes closed? Open your eyes. I slowly opened my eyes. But the world before me had become completely different. A Feng. Where is this? The more it resembled Mount Everest. How could it change so quickly? Liang. You certainly don't have the physical strength of our phoenix tribe. That means, in other words, we are saved. It's so cool here. No more staying in the basement. No more being in the cellar. I happily jumped onto Dapeng. On fire phoenix. Almost fell. I managed to stay upright. Felt uncomfortable in my stomach. NT 747. Healthy ONET 747. Dapeng handed me water with concern. Bright and cheerful. You fly your bone. Should have known earlier. So it turns out I'm nauseous, not suffering from heat stroke. I feel dizzy from flying. A Feng. You actually have strength and speed. Can't reach up. Can't get on. Like smoke coming to Mount Everest. I'm thinking about this again. Lu Ruyan knows. Still use. I was feeling embarrassed about my own cleverness. My own meal. For my own wealth. Hand twist. It was Lu Ruyan who called. I thought about it. I decided to answer her call. Like Bright. Weren't you working together before? Didn't you just cooperate? All at once. Given that you were on top. On the flower. It's difficult to agree. The meal can be given to you to give you the rabbit. But you have to roast the meal. I heard Lu Ruyan's words. A smile came. A smile stood out and then burst into laughter. I hurriedly opened the copper mirror. It is to see. I actually want to see. What is Lu Ruyan's situation now? It will make her put down the blanket of request.